This tapping sequence is for those of you that have maybe been diagnosed with being infertile, or sometimes it's called early onset ovarian failure. That came out a little weird. Early onset ovarian failure. These things sound really scary, and if you are someone that really wants to be a mom, really wants to have kids, and you hear that that might not be an option for you, I want to honor that that in and of itself can be so overwhelming to the system, and you might still find yourself in a panic loop from that original diagnosis. And this one is personal to me. Well, all these videos are personal. All these videos are personal to me, but this one as well, because even though I didn't want to have kids, I was diagnosed 8 years ago with early onset ovarian failure. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, my body's broken. I'm so sick. It's only going to go down from here. I imagine my bones breaking down, because I'm sure a lot of you are learning, whether you're in a different course, whether you're doing your own research, but being able to ovulate and produce progesterone and have a natural, healthy cycle is so protective on numerous levels, but specifically for the bones, for our thyroid function, for, really any energy intensive process is supported by thyroid and progesterone. They kind of dance together. So if you're someone that's dealing with a current diagnosis and all of the emotions that are coming up with that, this is for you. So before we start tapping, I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths. And if this is your first video, welcome. I like to start with letting the breath just breathe itself. We don't need to push more in life. And sometimes just by noticing the breath, it naturally starts to deepen and soften, which is just so cool. And then repeating after me. And if this is your first video, just tap along and repeat after me. And that's all you have to do. Your body does the rest. Even though it overwhelms me to have this diagnosis, I'm learning to trust my body regardless of what might be happening. And even though it brings up a lot of sadness to think about not being able to have kids, I'm choosing to trust my body right now. And even though I wonder what got me to this place, even though I wonder, is this my fault? I'm learning to love and accept my body as I learn to trust that it can heal. All of the panic and overwhelm. Really can't believe this is happening. And just how much stress comes out right now when I just think of the word infertility. The idea of being infertile. Sometimes I wonder if this is my fault. If everything I've done to my body has ruined it. If it's broken beyond repair. And this feels so stressful. Because now I know better. And I'm doing all of the things to heal. But my hormones are still kind of out of whack. And it just overwhelms me so much. to think about all of my friends having babies and how I'm trying so hard to conceive and it's not working. But right now, I'm choosing to honor my body. And I'm choosing to believe that if thousands of other people have reversed their so-called infertility, perhaps I can too. What if I can too? I'm so determined. And what if this is actually a good sign? What if being infertile right now is actually a gift? A gift to show me that I get to take care of my body very differently. I get to take care of my body in the most loving way. And this is kind of a wake-up call. I might have kept going at the stressful pace I was going at if not for this wake-up call. So actually, wow. What if this experience right now is a gift from the world to finally take my health back into my own hands? To question the things I've been told about birth control? To question the things I've been told about pharmaceuticals? Not to dismiss them, but to trust my gut, to learn that I get to empower myself, to learn that I get to do my own research from here on out. And I know it stresses me out. But what if that's a part of it too? What if this is my opportunity to learn? To fully trust this path. To fully trust my body. Because I know there's something innate in the body that wants to be fertile. Heck, we are built to be fertile. And now that I've gotten out of the way, what if my body starts picking up the cues? What if the more I learn to relax, the more my body balances? What if the more I allow myself to play, the happier my hormones become? And what if my ovaries are listening right now? They are. What if my ovaries are cheering for me because they're waiting for me to feel safe so that they can resume functioning? And just thinking about this, that I'm in a process of learning to fully honor my body, all of a sudden I start to get excited. Because what if things actually start working out? Then I'm going to have to figure out childcare. I'm going to have to make some freezer meals. What if I really start to show up for my life as if any moment I could be fertile? How would I walk? How would I dance? What would I notice about myself if my hormones started to shift? What does that feel like right now? Just to play. So I get curious. If truly all outcomes are possible, well, I'm going to spend time imagining the good outcomes, because assuming the worst hasn't helped me at all. So here I go. Here I am, learning to trust this process, learning to fully nourish my body, learning to balance my minerals, and taking this as an opportunity to engage with life in the most playful, the most loving, the most fertility boosting kind of way, just to see what might come. And then hands on the chest, take a deep breath in and hold, and put your brain right in your ovaries. Imagine them lighting up. And slowly exhaling, softening. And I know that might sound weird to put your brain in your ovaries, but even in the bodybuilding community, there are some interesting studies showing that just by imagining the muscle that you're working, growing and strengthening, those people actually make more significant muscle mass gains. And the brain-body connection is quickly becoming more recognized as not woo-woo, as actually, of course, if thoughts can make you sick, if someone can die from a broken heart, thoughts can make you well. So my request to you is, anytime you catch yourself thinking worst case scenario about your fertility, take that as your cue to say, oh, I'm doing that thing again. And instead shift. Ask yourself, well, if this actually is my cue to see this as a gift, to see this as a sign that I get to be the one to raise my body in the same way you might be raising a newborn infant very soon, see what that might change for you. And I should add, I forgot at the beginning, but it wasn't something I thought about. I just kind of signed up for the idea, well, I'm infertile, I'll have to figure out a way to support my bones, support my progesterone, support everything else in my body. But almost 8 years later, my cycle returned. And if anything, take that as another piece of evidence that, yes, we get so many diagnoses from doctors, we get labels, but there's freedom in not identifying with the labels. And it was funny. As soon as I stopped trying to get my fertility to come back, as soon as I stopped trying to balance my hormones and focus more on fun, continuing to eat delicious foods and mineral dense foods, of course, but that's when my body felt safe enough to be able to do the energy expending act of creating another human, another creature. So take that as hopefully inspiration, a data point, something to believe in, and see what that opens up for you. So let me know how this went. I'm so excited you're here. Always feel free to message on the community page if there's a video you'd like to see, a specific sequence you'd like to see, and I'll see you for the next one.
Some scrub, Jay. We've got some planks, some learning, got some videos, some slippers.